Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Just when you thought it was going a little bit too well, if you've been following West Ham for a number of years, you know that somewhere down the track, there's going to be a sting in the tail. The rug is going to be pulled from under your feet at some point, and this could be one of those situations. We have been thrown a bit of a curveball. Just when we thought that Steve Nickson, the current head of recruitment at Newcastle United, to coming to West Ham was a done deal, signed, sealed, delivered, boom, a twist. Proper, classic, West Ham United twist. I alluded to this on my dog walk video. There are reports that Wrexham, who a few seasons ago were a non-league team, could hijack the deal to bring Steve Nickson to the club. Running parallel to that, though, is a story that has come from Sky Sports' Dharmesh Sheth. He's turned around and given a bit of an update, which might just calm the situation down a little bit for anyone that is a little bit concerned with that. I'm recording this on the evening of Saturday, the 20th of June. Next week, the championship fixtures will be released. This is a season where the club, and let's be completely honest about this, the fans expect nothing less than an immediate return to the Premier League. We need to recognise, though, that the EFL Championship next season is going to be brutal. It contains us and 23 other teams. 46 games in the league phase alone, let alone if we have to get involved in the playoffs. We've mentioned Wrexham, some other teams of note, Southampton, Middlesbrough, Sheffield United, the Carlos Tevez derby. It's pretty well stacked. Wrexham, they have the Hollywood owners, they have the money that comes with it, they have a bit of momentum behind them. And this story that they're possibly looking to hijack the deal that's going to bring Steve Nickson into West Ham proves that they are not messing about. Honestly, this league is going to be tougher than trying to peel a dragon fruit with your bare hands. Now, before we go any deeper, do me a favor. If you like the content, drop a like on the stream, give us a hype if you've got one available. In the top left, you have a QR code. If you scan that with your mobile device, it will take you to our YouTube channel and you can subscribe, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified of any content as and when it's added, and put a comment in the section below and maybe consider sharing this onto your social media platforms. All of these things will help to move the content out there to fans that otherwise might not see it and grow the channel. And we appreciate your support in this. Now, Craig Hope has come out in a story. He's a journalist in the Daily Mail. His report says that Steve Nickson, the move to our West Ham United, is not a done deal and that Wrexham could swoop in. Now, you can imagine the panic. You can imagine the meltdown that will come off of the back of that. Now, Craig Hope goes on to say that Nickson is, who has to be recognised, like I say, he's Newcastle's head of recruitment. He's the guy that's helped to identify quite a bit of their talent over the last few years. There's some really big signings that he could actually choose Wrexham over us. Now, I do understand the Hollywood angle. I can understand that there's a little bit of an allure that might get a little bit of sort of like Steve Nickson maybe turning his head towards Wrexham. Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhenney, Netflix documentary, all of the hype surrounding that. But let's be real, and I hope this isn't going to come across to Wrexham fans as being overtly patronising, but we need to face facts. West Ham United are a massive club, even in the Championship. We're a bigger project. We have a bigger fan base. We have bigger expectations than, with all due respect, Wrexham, even despite the fact they've got the Hollywood owners. Now, we've obviously been in this situation before where we think someone's going to come in, be it a player or a manager or whatever it is. We think that it's going to happen, and we have been burned before. Deals collapse and targets slip away. And with the Championship being as competitive as it is, losing a top recruitment mind to a direct rival, it's going to sting a little bit. But here's where things get a little bit interesting, because Dharmesh Sheth from Sky Sports has stepped in and he's basically turned around and said, just calm down a minute, everyone. Now, this was on the Transfer Talk podcast, and he said that on paper, it does look a little bit odd for Steve Nickson to go from a Premier League club in Newcastle United to a Championship club in West Ham. But the role that he's being offered at West Ham gives him more responsibility than he currently occupies at Newcastle United. He will have more control, he will have more influence, and he will have a bigger say in the sporting direction of the club. At Newcastle United, he is part of a massive machine. But at West Ham United, he would be running the sporting department. And this is where Dharmesh Sheth really does assure the West Ham fans. He's turned around and said that Steve Nickson is actually one of several candidates, and he's not the only one. And that Daniel Křetínský, who's obviously now going to be, if it hasn't already been ratified, it will shortly be the case that he is the owner of 43% of the equity in the club. Daniel Křetínský is calm, he's calculated, and he has other options. Now, this is important because the old West Ham United in the Sullivan era, we would go into a mad panic. One target goes sideways, and suddenly we would be scrambling for a bargain bin alternative. We all know it. We saw it many times in his 16-year tenure as our chairman. But Daniel Křetínský, he is a multi-billionaire for a reason. He plans, he strategizes. He doesn't rely on one man. So if Steve Nickson chooses Wrexham, which is unlikely but possible, we've already got some other names lined up by all accounts. And these names range from, and a name that was mentioned before Steve Nickson's name was mentioned, Kieran Scott from Middlesbrough, and the former director of football at Brighton, Jason Ayto. Now, they are pretty serious operators. If they come in, they wouldn't be panic buys. We are preparing for a rebuild. We're preparing for a reset, and we are preparing for a return to the Premier League with a proper structure. Now, Dharmesh Sheth makes things pretty clear that Nixon is still one of the front runners for the West Ham United job of a director of football. And there's another twist, because Newcastle United reportedly wants him to stay for the summer window before he leaves, which kind of demonstrates exactly how highly they rate him. He's a guy who has helped to identify talent, and in some cases, world-class talent, during his 15 years at Newcastle United, such as Joel Linton, such as Bruno Guimaraes, such as Kieran Trippier. The list goes on and on and on. He is not just some random commoner garden average scout. He is top level. So the idea that he would pick Wrexham, with all due respect, over West Ham United, it is possible, but I don't really think that it's logical if you stop and think about it. But this is where you come in. I want to hear what you think. What do you think? Do you think that missing out on Steve Nickson would be a disaster? Or do you have trust that Daniel Křetínský's strategy and planning will mean that he has an adequate, a more than adequate plan B? So get your comments in the section below, and I'm going to have a little go through all of them. Before you go, as I say, if you appreciate the content on the channel, drop a thumbs up. And if you've got a hype available, please consider giving us one of them. In the top left-hand corner, you have a QR code. And if you scan that with your mobile device, it will take you to our YouTube channel. You can hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. And that way you'll be notified of any new content as and when it comes on the channel. And please also consider sharing this onto your social media platforms. Again, all of these things help to get the channel out there to places it otherwise might not get. And with your support, we can just get that little bit bigger down the track. We'll see you again soon. Come on, you Irons.